I'm William Mason. I've been part of ABandOfBrothers for coming on 4 years now, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for ABandOfBrothers. 3 or 4 years ago, I was in a very, very bad place in my life. I had no role models, no support, no guidance, and I was a lost boy. I was getting arrested every other week, on the brink of going to prison, countless suicide attempts from the age of 11 onwards. Yeah, if I hadn't have found ABandOfBrothers, I wouldn't be here right now. Having a community of brothers. Beforehand, men were enemies to me. I would avoid men as much as possible. I couldn't talk to anyone. I kept bottled everything up inside, and it built up into rage and anger, and then that would come out in stupid acts that I'd done, and I'd end up hurting someone, hurting myself, hurting my family, hurting people I love, and yeah, it just ruined every part of my life. I was at the end of the road. I was literally planning how I was going to kill myself. A man sat next to me on the beach one day and he said, "Why don't you come along to ABandOfBrothers and see what it's all about?" And I was a bit apprehensive at first, like being told to go sit in a circle of men was not something on my agenda. And I went through with it. I went there, reluctantly I went there. And I had my hood up, I sat there in silence, couldn't look at anyone, I was just looking at the floor the whole time. After a few weeks, I just thought, do you know what, fuck it, just embrace it, just go with it. I could see that there's men here that wanted to help and support me with their care and love. And this is something that I'd never felt before, so it was a bit of an alien thing for me to feel love and support. And at first it was hard for me to accept it, like it was hard for me to show that I was feeling it as well. Yeah, I was a very cold and dark-hearted person. Since I joined ABandOfBrothers and realised how well it's helped me learn to cope with things in my life and things that are coming my way, I've now put all of my energy into it, and now I see it as my purpose to get that across to as much of the younger generation as possible and make them realise that there is help out there, there is support out there. You don't need to kill yourself. That is the last thing you need to do. It's not just you that you're going to save by doing that, you're going to destroy everyone around you's lives. It really opened my eyes up when I first saw that men could be open and honest about some of the rawest stories I've ever heard. Like, I've heard men talk about the darkest things that you probably couldn't even imagine, and they're talking about these things in front of other men. And that was an amazing thing for me to witness, and that made me realise that, wow, maybe I could do this too. I've done the hardest bit, which was starting, and now look at me, I don't shut up. Every aspect of my life has changed for the better because of ABandOfBrothers. Every decision I make, every opportunity comes my way, I use the tools that ABandOfBrothers have provided me to work through how I'm going to do it, make my plan and commit to doing it. So the biggest one for me was conflict and anger. So before ABandOfBrothers, all I knew about anger was if you're angry with someone, you fight them, you beat them up, or you get beaten up yourself. And ABandOfBrothers taught me that there's actually safe ways to deal with conflict. Sometimes you just need to sit with this man and speak these to that man, and maybe the man feels the same, and then you've built a massive brotherhood bond at the end of that. The first time I watched a conflict resolution happening, I was scared and I was sad, because any anger that I knew was either anger that I'd felt as a child from other people around me, or just like built up anger inside of myself because I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. Seeing men really sort conflict out in front of people as well. Like, we're not just doing this in a room with two people. There'll be a circle of brothers around you, and everyone's there to support you, and that just like clicked something in my head and realised that like help and support is the way forward. After I graduated from my weekend and become part of ABandOfBrothers, I then staffed a weekend where I witnessed young men coming in like I did, all quiet, all hood up, don't want to talk to anyone, and by the Sunday they're like, yeah, this is me, like in front of 50 men, and you're like, it makes you feel so amazing to see the change in these young men and realising that this is what the UK needs right now. There's a saying that I live by. I actually heard it from an elder in ABandOfBrothers when I first joined, Craig, and the saying is, if you are lonely when you are alone, then you are in bad company. And that really hit home for me, because all of my life it's always just been me, myself and isolation. Keep everything inside, don't tell anyone, keep yourself safe. One piece of advice I'd give to anyone is do not commit suicide. There is other routes, there is help, there is support, there is communities. No matter how bad you feel, no matter how much stuff you've done wrong or guilt or shame you feel, there is always an option to make life better again.